Hi, this is T with TeaQuilts, and I'm here to show you how I rotary cut 2-inch squares on my 2-inch strip die. I actually have a studio cutting system, but I'm using my Go die. That's a 2-inch strip, and when you use the Go dies on your studio system, you have to have the adapter plate to go with that. So on my board, I already have scraps that I've cut into 2.5-inch strips, and I want to cut them into 2-inch squares. And how I did that is, prior to coming on this video, I marked my board with some lines that cross intersect at 90 degrees with the blade line. So the black lines going this way or where the blades are, and then I use those lines to draw lines randomly down the board. So I can now use those lines to place my fabrics the opposite direction. And then I can abut them just like that. So this stack here is ready for cutting. But I have all of this space still empty up here. And on the Accuquilt Go system, you can cut up to 6 layers. So what I'm going to do is get some more scraps to place at the top. So this one's pretty long. So I'm just going to fold it into 4s. So that's 2. And now I have 4 layers. And then this will make 5. So since it's longer, now that these are folded, I will place these on the board. So that's 5 layers. I'll place that one to the side. That's 2. This is folded, so I just keep going through the scraps to get something that's going to fit my spaces. So here's another one. So now that's 6 layers of fabric on that side. Now, because I have 6 layers over here, I can't come back and start my next row right here, because this blade will have overlapping pieces, and so that would be 7. And if I continue to layer 6, that would be 12 pieces trying to be cut. So I have to skip. So what I'm going to do is lay some pieces that are now covering 2 die blades. Let's see if this is wide enough. So this is 3 layers. And so here are my 6 layers now. Now, I like to try to put my largest pieces on the bottom, so when I'm cross cutting, I'll know when they run out. So I'm just reorganizing my pieces on the board. And sometimes you end up with small pieces of fabric you're trying to cut, and I will just slide them in as well. Okay, so that's how I will fill my board, so that I'm utilizing as much cutting space as I can on the board. Now, even though I'm using the Go dies, I'm using my studio cutter, so I'm going to put the protective case on top that goes with the studio cutter, not the Go cutter. The actual cutting mat is for the studio, not the go. So now I can pull off all the things that are on the sides that are extra, and if they're not big enough, I just place them in for trash. And so now those were the leftovers from my strips. Now down here I have my squares. So I can pull these off. And I'm probably off camera, but just a second, I'll be over there. Larger pieces that I can cut out of something else, I put them to the side. So I'm cutting 2-inch strips, and I'm putting pieces that I can cut 1.5 squares in the other pile. So these were the strips that I cut, so I just removed these. And now that I've got these strips cut, I start to lay them out the opposite direction on the board. So in essence, I'm cutting strips and squares at the same time. And I'll just do one more board and I'll speed up the recording. And that's it. That's basically, I do the same process of pulling off the scraps and taking off the bottom portion of my board that has my cut squares, and then any strips that were cut up here I move to the bottom and start this process over again. And you can cut a lot of squares very quickly with this method, especially scraps, because they just keep multiplying, and this is the way that I find most efficient to use them. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in my next video.